day for us at King's and SISTA because we are on the verge of officially, commercially launching a new platform which will help transform the aquaculture industry in this country. As you know, aquaculture is maybe in the northern India, it's a new science, a new practice, but it is also one of the biggest priority of the government of India, especially after our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji up in 2014, one of the major decisions he made after swearing in as a PM, he announced the Blue Revolution. He made a call for Blue Revolution in July 2014. From July 2014 till today, in 2023.
So here, with the climatic conditions suitable for aquaculture, with the higher diversity of species available for us, and higher potential for growing seaweeds and other related plant-related proteins, we have all the potential in hand, and with the government taking active interest and promoting aquaculture in a big way from all directions, 2030 should be a reasonable time frame for us to cross this milestone.
To all of you who have joined us this afternoon for this press meet by King's and SISTA360. We are indeed very happy that all of you are here with us. I now wish to introduce, we have already introduced the team with us, so I would now like to request our Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Shaji Devi John, to address. Thank you.
नमस्कार, आप देख रहे हैं इन्फोपोस्ट न्यूज। सेमिनार में लॉन्च होगा सिस्टा 360। भारत को एक एक्वाकल्चर पावरहाउस बनाना है लक्ष्य। आगामी 25 सितंबर 2023 को नई दिल्ली में सस्टेनेबल एक्वाकल्चर भारत के वैश्विक लीडर बनने की क्षमता विषय पर आयोजित होने वाला अभूतपूर्व सेमिनार एक दूरदर्शी कदम के तहत टिकाऊ जलीय कृषि के प्रति भारत की प्रतिबद्धता को रेखांकित करने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएगा। इस सेमिनार में मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में उपस्थित रहने वाले मत्स्य पालन मंत्री परषोत्तम रूपाला के साथ यह ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रम भारत की जलीय कृषि यात्रा में एक महत्वपूर्ण क्षण होगा। अन्य वक्ताओं में संसद सदस्य एन.के. प्रेमचंद्रन सम्मानित अतिथि के रूप में उपस्थित रहेंगे। जलीय कृषि क्षेत्र में उल्लेखनीय परिवर्तन, दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व और स्थिरता के प्रति दृढ़ प्रतिबद्धता से प्रेरित भारत के जलीय कृषि क्षेत्र में पिछले एक दशक में उल्लेखनीय परिवर्तन देखा गया है। 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के दूसरी ब्लू क्रांति के आह्वान ने नीतिगत सुधारों की एक लहर शुरू की, जिससे जलीय कृषि क्षेत्र में विकास को विशेष प्राथमिकता मिली। प्रधानमंत्री की मत्स्य संपदा योजना और तटीय जल कृषि प्राधिकरण संशोधन विधेयक 2023 जैसी उल्लेखनीय पहल इस यात्रा में महत्वपूर्ण मील का पत्थर साबित हो रही है। किंग्स इंफ्रा के अध्यक्ष और प्रबंध निदेशक साजी बेबी जॉन ने अपना दृष्टिकोण साझा करते हुए कहा, ये सेमिनार भारत के जलीय कृषि उद्योग के लिए एक ऐतिहासिक क्षण है। हम विकास और स्थिरता के एक अभूतपूर्व युग के कगार पर खड़े हैं। उन्होंने कहा, किंग्स इंफ्रा नवाचार और सहयोग के माध्यम से जलीय कृषि में वैश्विक लीडर बनने की भारत की यात्रा का समर्थन करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। विभिन्न राज्यों के किसान समूह लेंगे भाग। सेमिनार में प्रसिद्ध विशेषज्ञों, शिक्षाविदों, प्रौद्योगिकीविदों, निवेशकों के अलावा विभिन्न राज्यों के किसान समूह भी भाग लेंगे। कार्यक्रम के दौरान व्यक्तिगत के साथ ही ऑनलाइन दोनों तरह से एकत्रित होने के लिए एक मंच प्रदान किया जाएगा। कार्यक्रम के दौरान सभी लोग भारत के जलीय कृषि समुदाय की समावेशिता और विविधता का प्रदर्शन करेंगे। इस कार्यक्रम में सिस्टा 360 का राष्ट्रीय लॉन्चिंग मुख्य आकर्षणों में से एक रहेगा, जो एक अभूतपूर्व डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म है, जिसे पता लगाने योग्य, पारदर्शी, टिकाऊ और लाभदायक जलीय कृषि समाधान प्रदान करने के लिए डिजाइन किया गया है। यह इनपुट खरीद को सरल बनाने, टिकाऊ उत्पादन को प्रोत्साहित करने, लाभदायक विपणन की सुविधा देने के साथ ही सरकारी योजनाओं और कार्यक्रम लिंकेज पर मूल्यवान मार्गदर्शन प्रदान करता है। समुद्री शैवाल की खेती पर भी रहेगा फोकस। सेमिनार में समुद्री शैवाल की खेती और मूल्यवर्धित उत्पादों का विकास पर भी मुख्य रूप से फोकस किया जाएगा। दरअसल ये नवाचार न केवल भारत के तटीय और समुद्री पारिस्थितिकी तंत्र के लिए बल्कि देश के कृषि क्षेत्र के लिए भी आशाजनक है। उद्योग और शिक्षा जगत की संलग्नता से नई घरेलू नस्लों, प्रजातियों के विविधीकरण और पोषक तत्वों के पुनर्चक्रण जैसी पर्यावरणीय रूप से जिम्मेदार प्रथाओं का उदय हुआ है। टिकाऊ 10 गुना विकास की दस्तक। वर्तमान में भारत के केवल 5 से 10% जलीय संसाधनों के उपयोग के साथ देश टिकाऊ 10 गुना विकास हासिल करने की ओर अग्रसर है, जो $1 ट्रिलियन की ब्लू अर्थव्यवस्था प्राप्त करने योग्य वास्तविकता बन जाएगी। सेमिनार का उद्देश्य 2030 तक भारत को जलीय कृषि का वैश्विक केंद्र बनाने के लक्ष्य के साथ हितधारकों के बीच सामूहिक कार्रवाई करना है। ये प्रयास आत्मनिर्भर भारत के दृष्टिकोण के साथ पूरी तरह से मेल खाता है। ये सेमिनार टिकाऊ जलीय कृषि में वैश्विक लीडर बनने की दिशा में भारत की यात्रा में एक महत्वपूर्ण क्षण होने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध रहेगा, क्योंकि यह क्षेत्र के अवसरों और चुनौतियों पर विचार विमर्श करने और उज्जवल भविष्य का मार्ग प्रशस्त करने का महत्वपूर्ण अवसर है।
There for us at Kings and SISTA, because we are on the verge of officially, commercially launching a new platform which will help transform the aquaculture industry in this country. As you know, aquaculture is maybe in the northern India, it's a new science, a new practice, but it is also one of the biggest priority of the government of India, especially after our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji in 2014, one of the major decisions he made after swearing in as a PM, he announced Blue Revolution. He made a call for Blue Revolution in July 2014. From July 2014 till today, in 2023, we have seen a huge change. A new ministry was formed. The Ministry of Fisheries was given independent cabinet rank minister in charge of fisheries, and the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana was launched. Almost 30 to 40,000 crores of supports to the farmers have been committed, and there is, even in every part of the country now, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, from Kutch to the northeast, everywhere, different forms of aquaculture is bringing tremendous social and economic upliftment for the people. When we talk of aquaculture, people just think it is growing fish. But aquaculture and the Blue Revolution has a much more bigger scope than just growing the fish. More than 500 aquatic plants and species are cultivable in the world. And from this, there are seaweeds, there are nutrients, there are so many species. Even 70% of aquaculture can be in the plant-based aquaculture is also there, and it is coming up in a big way in our country. So, I myself, I have started the first aquaculture integrated shrimp farm in the country in 1987 with collaboration from Japanese scientists. We work closely with the scientific communities, and we developed the first integrated shrimp farm in the country in 1987. Now, a large segment of the technocrats from this industry were developed and trained by us, and they are all in very important positions, whether in academic bodies, whether in international companies, whether scientific research institutions. All of them who started their career with the King's Group in 1987 are widely spread out across the globe. So we thought, as a part of our giving back to our country and our society, we should build a platform which will get all these people together to give a new direction to the aquaculture industry in the country and to develop. India has a potential to be the world leader. If you see the current statistics, India stands at number 2 with 8% of the global production. But the number 1 position is China, which is almost close to 50% of the global production. They are the largest producer, largest consumer, largest importer, and largest exporter. But one big advantage that we realize that our country has is that we have a much larger exclusive economic zone, we have a much larger coastal area, we have much larger potential. And this being a relatively new science in India, and if we got an exclusive ministry for aquaculture and fisheries only about 4 years back, and whereas other countries have exploited 70 to 80% of their potential, we are still at 5% of the potential. We have today, if it is a 17 to 18 billion dollar total industry and about $7 billion export industry, you can imagine if that is 5%, then what will be if we reach even 60 to 70% of our potential. One of the few, aquaculture today is like what IT sector or digital transformation sector was in 2000s. So IT sector had a quantum leap during the 2000 initial period. The same way, the digital transformation of this country, where we are a global model today, happened 5 years back. And there is a huge 5 to 7 years back. This 7 years back has been an era of digital transformation. According to us, the next 7 to 10 years will be an era of integrated food production, distribution, and exports, and where India can be a global leader in the food industry, and aquaculture will play a very dominant role. I am also saying this because I was part of the policy making bodies right from the start of this industry, and now the proper integration is happening from the farm to the final end use consumer. We are moving from just a commodity raw material supplier to a finished food producing destination. And globally, India's newfound dominance in the global scenario will also help India to be the major food supplier to the world. And aquaculture and fisheries will play a very dominant role in that transformation. So, with this in view, we are conducting an international seminar a global seminar. We are invited uh, different different teams, different delegates from Vietnam, from Thailand, from Middle East, from Canada, and all of them are converging here, and they are all having a detailed meeting. Each of the aspects of considering sustainability, environment, the food chain, how to make the food chain free of any residues, free of antibiotics, free of chemicals, how to produce healthy food for our future generations. This is the theme of this global event, the global seminar, and it is also participated by all these senior scientists of this country. ICAR is represented, Central Institute of Brackish Water Aquaculture, SIBA is represented. There are few MOUs being signed during this seminar where the indigenous species development, as I said, no, is more than 500 species can be cultivated. So we are maybe in 4 or 5 species now. So the indigenous species development, we have indigenous species which are much better than the present species which are in global market, which is mainly originated from South America or China. Those species which are there dominating the Indian international market can be replaced by indigenous species from India. And our local conditions are more suitable for the indigenous species. All technology is available in the country, within the country. Our research institutions and academies and universities, they are a wealth of knowledge. There are more research papers done in fisheries in India than elsewhere in the world. But these are all lying at a research paper level. Now, how industry can collaborate with the universities and research institutions in order to translate this into prosperity for our people in the rural area. That is one of the main theme of this seminar. That's why all the research institutions are participating. Then NABARD and some of the nationalized banks and the ministry and from National Fisheries Development Board, they are all participating to explain to the farmers or fishermen and fish farmers across India to explain to them what are all the possibilities, what are the schemes that are available that they could utilize. So this conference also is helping the farmer to understand government species, the government schemes and possibilities, and also how this aquaculture can be done to enhance the environment. People have a thing that any farming will degrade the environment. But there are international experts who are coming in who will explain how it can help in improving carbon credits for the country, how we can enhance the environment, enhance our agriculture through some scientific interactions between agriculture and fisheries can enhance agriculture, create organic fertilizers. So there is such a big scope, and there is a special session on that. And the best thing about this function that we are organizing, that it is an interactive function. There are around 20 farmers clusters from across the country, from Tamil Nadu, from Gujarat, from Haryana. They are all having simultaneous meetings in their own villages or in their own wherever they are working from. 50 to 100 farmers from each area is joining parallelly, simultaneously in their own destinations. They are also taking part in this meeting because we have created an interactive two-way communication where their leaders can also interact with the VIPs who are here, and they can communicate. Their opinion can be heard. The voice of the small farmer across the country can be heard in the decision makers, policy makers, and the including all the VIPs who assemble here. They can have a first-hand interaction directly with the farmers clusters. I think this is a first initiative of its kind from anybody in the industry, that organizing a two-way interactive conference between farmers and the authorities, and we will end up with a think tank session which will summarize opinion from all farmers from across the country, and which will be made into so we have some very senior policy makers who will help convert it into a series of suggestions which can be given to the minister and prime minister's office, and so that this can be taken in a very serious and positive manner. So coming to the people who will be attending this conference, our Honorable Minister, Union Cabinet Minister, Sri Parshottam Rupalaji has agreed that he will inaugurate the seminar, and he will also launch the SISTA360 platform. Then we have an Honorable Member of Parliament, Sri N.K. Premchandran from Kerala, who will give the keynote address, highlighting the issues faced by the farmers and the fishermen. And he is from a constituency which has the largest fishing harbour in the country, and will have direct information and knowledge about the problems faced by fishermen and farmers. Then we have also the working president of the National Working President of the Fishermen Federation of India. And we have Dr. J.K. Jana, Deputy Director General of Indian Council for Agriculture Research. We have we have a special emissary from the media in Middle East, because there is a big scope for cooperation between Middle East and India in the food security. There is already a food security agreement between Middle East and India. So the managing editor of Khaleej Times, Sri Isaac John Patan Perambal, will also be present. And then we have Sri Kuldeep Lal, Director of SIBA, Central Institute of Fisheries. And there is a MOU being signed by SIBA and Kings on the occasion, which will work towards developing indigenous species of fish and prawns, which can be a global alternative to present South American or Chinese species. Then we have another MOU with SISTA and a group of farmers from Haryana, Rajasthan, and from North India. And we also have one more MOU with Middle East and African entrepreneurs for utilizing SISTA technology in those countries also. So this is generally the overall program. I would leave my colleagues to explain in detail, especially on the SISTA and other matters. Thank you.
About aquaculture. Many years back in 90s, those things started, and after the Prime Minister has come in, so he's given the shape. And when you're talking about shrimp farming, so I understand like why Haryana is in. Haryana, we are not consumers, we don't consume. So one thing is I would like to know which are the countries where you're exporting, means when you're growing this. And another thing is that how much, when you say China, is way ahead of us. And then you said that India has potential to be a global leader. So, what are the challenges you're going to be facing, and by when do you think like you will be crossing, and what are the steps, sir?
Thank you so much. First of all, let me speak about Haryana. And there's a region between Haryana, Rajasthan, and Punjab which has inlands where the water is very saline and not suitable for any type of agricultural activities. So the government of India has given a special support to inland saline water aquaculture, and that has caught up in a big way. According to our studies, and we spent a lot of time in Haryana, Punjab, and Rajasthan. And Hisar, mainly in Haryana, Hisar area and surrounding areas have a lot of farms which have come up. And then Churu, Churu district of Rajasthan, and some districts of Punjab together have, I think, over the last 5 years, developed almost close to, there are more than 4,000 to 5,000 farmers, about more than 10,000 hectares are there, but these farmers are scattered. So they have a lot of logistic issues and some technical issues. But they can, it's a very good environment, and they are growing in a big way. And but they need, see, like the coastal areas of India had developed this almost 35 years back. So everything is available here. This being a new area, there is nothing, there's no organized sector which is available which can support to the farmers in terms of their inputs or buying back the product or selling. So the biggest problem faced by Haryana and the new development areas where farming is coming up in the inland is the marketing. When they buy, when they harvest, there is nobody to take, because the farming only has developed. The ancillary industries, the hatcheries, the logistics, the processing, and the export. That's another area which I first have to use the other area farmers. There are almost already 800 farmers have expressed their they want, there is a need, and there is a requirement to be part of a cluster development program like ours. So they are part of this SISTA movement. The first area where this whole idea has come up is when some farmers in Haryana contacted us, knowing our experience and expertise, and say how can we, because last year in January 2022 we created a world record in the banana mushroom production. We created the largest banana mushroom cultivated anywhere in the world. We grew it to a bigger size than what you get in the ocean in South America. So when that news came out, a group of farmers from Haryana contacted us. And that's how we thought this idea, okay, we have all the knowledge, the resources. Why don't we share it with those farmers? So that's the whole idea. And then Mr. Chandra personally visited along with me, spent more time with those farms, and developed the protocols. So that's the first part of the question. And the second part is regarding India vis-a-vis where we stand with China. See, potentially we are far ahead, because most of the species, they want temperate climate. Our climate, our agroclimatic conditions are much better than China. China has 800,000 square miles of exclusive economic zone. India has 2 million square miles of exclusive economic zone. That means we have the 250% more of ocean development. And with the Sagarmala project and everything, which is integrating our entire coastal areas, We are definitely ready for a quantum leap. The government's political will is there, the policy making has already been done. And this is the time when all the stakeholders should get to make this possible. And suddenly, if you are talking about increasing fivefold from 8 billion export to 30 to 40 billion export, and from a 16 billion domestic industry to 5 times of that, then marketing, technology, logistics, all these things have to follow.
And the company so that you can give your best. But मैं एक चीज पूछना चाहूँगा सर, it has been already 9 years. A Modi government came in 2014. Then why it took 9 years to sign the first MOU? Number one. And very well we know that India is very well connected climatically. We have got ample opportunity and lot of seas adjoining borders. They are adjoining to our shores and seas. We are, as very well said by you, that no doubt we have ample opportunities. We can cultivate any type of technically good sea fishes or octopus or the breeds. Then why you have chosen Rajasthan and Haryana when the climatical conditions you are not getting instead of choosing the shores area? Third point, sir, are you very much sure that when you are choosing Haryana and Rajasthan just to cultivate, you can give the same quality of food or the quality, you can match the same quality if you compare the same thing when you are talking about the shores like Bengal or even the Mumbai and other areas. And sir, under SISTA you are doing a very good work, no doubt. But I would like to know very frankly that what problems you are facing, what hurdles you are facing, that it is taking so long, and it took so long. When you yourself are telling that China has occupied 50% of the business, China has grabbed, and ample opportunity, a lot of scope we are seeing in this business. Then why we are lagging behind when so much technically you are well connected and Saji sir has joined this business long back, then why is taking too much of time? Why we are not in that position so that at least 8% is no doubt is very well. So why India is not coming up with 20, 25 or 30%? What hurdles you are facing, sir?
I'll take one part of the question. It is the last part of the question. Although I started 40 years back, initial period, the first 10 years was a golden period of aquaculture. Then for coastal aquaculture, there was some setback, and we moved. I personally, although I was a consultant with other companies, international consultant, I had a break from aquaculture for almost 20 years. I started back in 2017. So from 2017, when I started back, the first thing I did was to go to all the coastal areas.